And we're back. We're picking up where we left off with problem number 10 from the bookwork in section 3.3. For this problem, we're going to take a look at the calculator's version of the line of best fit. And what I suggest you do here is get your calculator out and follow along. And at any time, feel free to pause the video to get caught up with what I'm showing you. I have a lot of the items pre-entered into my calculator just to save some time for the video. So at this time, let me show you the buttons that we'll press. We're going to start with going into Stat. Sorry about that. Press Stat. And then go into the Edit menu. Press Enter to go into the Edit menu. And in List 1 and List 2, go ahead and populate with the data points given. List 1 will be the hours without sleep, and List 2 would be the number of errors. Go ahead and press pause and put those values in. Now, after you have the lists populated, what you want to do is set up a scatter plot. To do that, press second y equals. That takes you into the stat plot menu. You want to make sure that the plots are on. Plot 1 is on. You can see up here it says plot 1 on. If not, well, let's all actually press enter to go into plot 1. Here's where you turn it on. Make sure that it's on type, the one with the little dots, and that the X list says L1 and the Y list says L2. Moving on, the next thing will be to set up your window, your graphing window. Press window. What I did is I made my window numbers the same as the scales that were on the graph that I made. I had the X go from 6 to 26, counting by 2s, and the Y's from 4 to 18, counting by 2s. Pause now to enter those in. Next, we have the actual graph should appear if you, let's do one thing, go to y equals and make sure that there are no equations in there. Clear them all out if you have anything in there. Now that the window is set up and the scatter plot is turned on, pressing graph should show this. Looks like a pretty decent scatter plot. Looks a lot like the stars that I had up there in the previous video. Now, to get the line of best fit, it's quite simple. You just follow these keystrokes. Press Stat to do some statistics. Instead of going into Edit, this time you're going to go right to the Calculate menu, and you want what's called a linear regression, option 4. The linear regression, you can press 4 or scroll down to option 4 and hit Enter. There's nothing there. By default, it will look in lists L1 and L2 to find the X and Y variables. You could just hit Enter, and it'll give you your line of best fit. A little bit backwards in that the calculator thinks of it as y equals ax plus b, where we do a plus bx. So be careful. It is telling you that the a value is 0.475. That would be the slope. I can tell because it's attached to the x. And the b value is their y-intercept, 3. You might remember that we had a y-intercept of 3, right there in green, and we had a slope of 1/2. So we weren't too far off from the calculator's opinion of the line of best fit. To plug in its line of best fit, you can just go to y equals and type in 3 plus 0.475x. 3 plus 0.475x. And by pressing graph, you should see the line of best fit strike right through the data points. There it is. Not too far off from the green line that I had on my scatter plot. You can see it doesn't actually touch any of the points, but it does split through the middle pretty well. Finally, you can use the calculator to find the number of errors that a student would make with 22 hours without sleep. So we could just go to quit and calculate it by doing 3 plus 0.475 times 22. Back up. Delete. One too many 2's there. Okay, and it has 13.45 errors. Our answer in the earlier video was 14 errors, so we weren't too far off. So there we go. That's how you enter the scatter plot in the calculator. If you have any questions on that, please feel free to ask me on Monday or post something on the discussion.